What's up, Midnight Strikers? Welcome back to your long-awaited episode of Versus to begin Season 3. So, we're going to begin with a bang, and before I get into the actual episode itself, if you're a new subscriber of mine, I'm just going to explain briefly what Versus is. So, I've been doing Versus for a little over a year now, and since February of 2013, I've been taking 2 or more different things, be it metal, music, games, anything like that, hard rock, physical, digital media, and pitting them against each other to see which one my subscribers or the audience approves of or likes better. So, of course, I'm going to give my own opinion on which one comes out on top, but first I'm going to give a little bit of backstory and brief history in case, well, you might learn something new, and in case you don't really know that much about the topic at hand. So, basically, like I said, we're going to start off with a bang with AC/DC's prized albums, as I am doing a discography, Highway to Hell, and the one that I just got done reviewing, Back in Black. So, as I said in one of my reviews, they could not be further apart from each other on the spectrum of hard rock. This one is a little bit heavier and a little bit more balls to the wall, raw, and it seems like with Brian's screeching, wailing vocals, it just gives off that hint of aggression that Highway to Hell was missing. So, Highway to Hell still is a very edgy album. It's still very rooted in hard rock and very guitar driven. I almost lost my train of thought, but it's missing that aggression that this album has, or would come to have the next year. So let me begin with a little bit of brief story. AC/DC formed in '73 with Angus Young, Malcolm Young, Mark Evans, and Dave Evans. I believe he's related to Mark Evans, but don't quote me on it, I'm not sure. Didn't really look into it. Bon Scott actually would come in and come to be known as the person who applied to become the drummer later on. But AC/DC said they didn't need a drummer, they wanted a new vocalist, as Dave Evans wasn't exactly cutting it for them. They actually came to compare him to Gary Glitter. So, not exactly a good comparison, especially for a band that wants to be known as edgy, as just hard rock, just rock and roll kind of rooted band. So, this glittery, kind of just glam kind of image just didn't suit it for them. So, they got Bon Scott, and he would sing on, I believe, 4 or 5 of their albums: High Voltage, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Let There Be Rock, Powerage, If You Want Blood, You've Got It, as well as the '74 Jailbreak EP, which was taken from Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, mostly, and, of course, the album we're talking about today, Highway to Hell, which was really AC/DC's breakthrough. These two are arguably AC/DC's best efforts for many fans. The Mutt Lange albums, if you include For Those About to Rock, We Salute You, many people consider these 3 albums to be AC/DC's prime years. Of course, I would disagree and say that 76 through 81 were their prime years, or 83, excuse me, including Flick of the Switch, but that is a different video for a different day, as I always say in some of my videos. So, when it comes down to Highway to Hell and Back in Black, I would probably say that while Back in Black was a phenomenal tribute to Bon Scott's life and just his life in the band and everything that they accomplished with him, I would have to go with Highway to Hell, because just the song structures, the production, Bon Scott's vocals, as always, are great. Everything is just where it needs to be on this album, and I just absolutely love it. Like I said in my review, it's one of Bon Scott's best releases, best efforts, and it was the album that brought them into the limelight. This, Back in Black right here, just continued on their success. Now, I'm not discounting Back in Black as a second-rate album, but I do like it a little bit less than Highway to Hell. But then again, I do have a soft spot for Bon Scott and his vocals and just his raspy yet bluesy tone. He's a lot more raspy in Highway to Hell. I forgot to mention that in my review, as that was before I was doing the discography, but he's a lot more raspy, and I don't know if necessarily he is losing his voice at this point in time, as he was a little bit more raspy in If You Want Blood, You've Got It, the live album, but that would have remained to be seen, especially if Bon Scott wouldn't have passed as unfortunately as he did. So, when it comes down to which one I like better, as I said before, I like Highway to Hell, and both of these albums have a fond, special place in my heart, as this was the first Bon Scott album that I really got into. This was the first AC/DC album I ever purchased, or ever actually received. I didn't purchase it. I got it for my birthday, my 14th birthday. I was trying to think of the exact year, but 2006. So this was the first album that I really got into. The first thing that I had heard was Back in Black, of course, and then Hell's Bells, and I just couldn't get enough of it. And Back in Black was really what drove me to find all of AC/DC's material, and now I have pretty much everything the band has ever released. So if not for Back in Black, I wouldn't be into the band in the first place. So, but without Highway to Hell, I probably wouldn't have come to like Bon Scott's vocals as much as I have. So the first Bon Scott album, with that I probably should explain that, is the first album I heard from Bon Scott was Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and the title track at the time was about the only one that I liked. So, as I said, it's my least favorite from the Bon Scott era. It's like a typical bar band album. I do like it a lot better than I did when I first started, but then again, if not for Highway to Hell right here, which I said I like better than Back in Black, I wouldn't have come to appreciate Bon Scott for who he is and what he's done for the band, or at least not as much. So, then again, which one do you guys like better? Share in the comments section so as to create a little bit of a discussion environment. And every single week, check back for a new Versus episode, as I am going to start doing them weekly. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the first sneak peek into what Versus 2014 will look like. Keep calm and rock on.